Hey guys, happy Saturday. I am just getting home, y'all. I just had like a day just out hanging with God, me and the Lord, okay? Hanging out on this great Saturday. Didn't do too much of anything. I woke up, sat on the couch, watched this good show for majority of the day. Felt led to get up and go. I wanted to get a new eyeshadow palette with some more vibrant colors. So I got this by Morphe, or is it Morphe? I don't know what it's called. But let me show you guys. It's such a cute eyeshadow palette. I love eyeshadow. So I got this cute palette. So I wanted to do that today for myself and just grab a coffee, right? So this is just like this is a chit chat word just to show how God works, but this is also an actual word because I'm going to give you guys a dream that I had 2 weeks ago that the Lord just gave me the revelation for it yesterday, but I'm going to give you guys a short version of it because it was a personal word for me, but I know it's not just for me. So anyway, just follow me. So I went and got this palette, went to Ulta, and went and got some coffee and just kind of enjoyed my day. Hanging with God. So that was my day today, right? So now I'm on the couch, heated blanket, just chilling, you know? So first part of this word, ladies. Single ladies that are in your season of marriage and God bringing together whoever that person is for you, right? Allow God to be your wingman so that you're not deceived, okay? And I'm going to share with you guys why I'm saying that because I let God lead in every portion of my life. And when you're in a situation, He will start speaking to you through that situation. He will speak to your spirit so that you know exactly what to do. So I went to Ulta, guys, and as I'm in Ulta, I saw this guy. He was there buying cologne, and he was just looking at me. And I can look straight at an object or something, but it's like I have like eagle eyes or eagle eyes, because eagles can be looking straight at something and they have like vision, like they can see all over if they're looking. You guys know what I'm saying? Like eagles can see. They have like 360 vision or whatever. Like they can see a lot of stuff from just one point of view. Am I making sense? Because this has been a long day. But like I can be looking at something in a store and I can see everything that's going on around me. So you won't even know I'm looking at you. I'll be looking straight ahead like this. But if you're on the side of me doing something or whatever, I can see it. And I don't have to like slant my eyes like this to see. I can see you even if I'm looking straight ahead. So I saw this guy, he was buying cologne or something, and you know, Ulta sells men and women cologne and perfume and makeup and a whole bunch of different stuff. So handsome guy was getting his cologne, and I could see him look at me from the time I walk in the door to me looking at eyeshadow or whatever. I noticed he was like checking me out. I didn't say anything to him. Didn't feel led to say anything, guys. And that's the thing, women. Just because someone's checking you out, that does not give your little fast self the go to speak to them. Like, you have to let God lead in every area. And not be so fast to just assume, oh, he's looking at me, he must be the one. Like, nah. I done been through too much. So, even though I love, like, I'm really content with being by myself and where I am right now until God sends that person. Like, I'm not hard up for a relationship, right? So I could see him looking at me, and I just said in my head to the Lord, I was like, whenever you send this person, I just want like a supernatural encounter, like for me to go to a place and the person just be there, and it's not like I'm expecting anything, just like that supernatural God encounter, right? So this is me having a conversation with God in my head while I'm in Ulta, right? So the guy checks out, I check out, he goes his separate way, I go my separate way. So I wanted to get coffee, and there was a coffee shop in the area that, I wasn't in the area that's near my home. I was at least 30 minutes away from home, and I saw this coffee shop on Google, and I was like, okay, let me just go here. It was only like 10 minutes away from where I was. So I go in this coffee shop, guys, and I walk in the door, really cute shop, and I went to the counter to, like, you know, ask the young lady about her recommendations on what I should order, you know, what she has with oat milk and, you know, whatever, just to get her recommendation, right? The young lady behind the counter. And as I walk in, I see this black guy who's sitting in one of the little booth areas with his laptop or whatever. He's working. I see him from the corner of my eye. I'm not looking at him, but I'm able to take notice of everything around me. So I see him in the corner of my eye. I didn't look his way. I just went to the counter and I started talking to the young lady. She recommended like a s'mores espresso coffee drink with oat milk or whatever. I was like, yeah, let me try it. Bam. So I order my drink and I go over to one of the high booth tables like across the room to wait for her to fix my drink because she would bring it to me, right? And I put my purse on the table and I sit in the chair. And when I sat in the chair, I noticed the young man, he was just like this, like staring at me, right? So I was like, hey, because I talk to anybody, guys. I consider myself shy, but not really. Like, y'all know. I can talk to anybody. So I just see him, guys, and he's literally like this, just staring at me. So I like look at him and I'm like, hey. And he was like, hey. And we just started talking. He's like, where are you from? He's like, are you just here ordering coffee or whatever he asked me? And I'm like, just passing through the area. He's like, passing through, like, you're not from here? I'm like, I'm not from here. I'm like, but I don't live near this area. So that's what I meant by passing through. And we just started having small talk. This guy is so handsome, guys. He was really a handsome, he was fine. He was a good looking guy. And he's like talking to me and he's smiling and he has like this beautiful smile. And we're just chit-chatting. Mind you, there's other young ladies that have been in the shop before me, okay? Like other cute girls, whatever, having their conversation. We're literally having a conversation across the room, right? And the coffee shop is not big. It was a really like medium-sized shop. So even though he's on one side of the room and I'm on one side, like we're talking, but we're not loud and we can like hear each other, you know? So we're just chit-chatting. And he's telling me he's from Chicago and all this stuff. And I was laughing to myself because the Lord had told me through a sister in Christ, don't go to Chicago, go to Israel. And it seems like every guy that's tried to talk to me has been from Chicago. But God will go ahead of you, right? So anyways, he's like, have you ever been to Chicago? I'm like, no. And we're just talking. And he's like, did you order your coffee or your food yet? And I was like, yeah, I'm waiting for her to bring my coffee. He's like, well, instead of us talking across the room, he's like, you can come over here and, you know, let's talk over here. And I was at a booth, guys, that was able to sit 2 people, right? So I was like, no, you can come over here if you want to talk to me. I was like, you can sit right here at my table. And mind you, this is not a big coffee shop. So it probably would have taken him like 3 steps to get to my table because this was a small coffee shop. And I'm like, no one's going to take your laptop. I was like, you can sit right here. And he's like, the chairs over here are much more comfortable. He's like, I'm inviting you into my space. And I was like, I'm inviting you to my table. I'm like, come over here. Mind you guys, I'm not there but for a few minutes, right? So I'm like, you can come sit over here. And he's like, nah, the seats are more comfortable over here. And he's making like these little excuses, right? And I'm only saying to him what the Lord is putting in my spirit to say. It would have been nothing for me to get up, take those 3 steps and go sit with him in his space, so to speak. Okay? But that's not what the Lord was speaking to my spirit to do. So I told him no. I said, you can come right here. And like, it's just listening to God, guys, because what the Lord was inputting in my spirit is if he's that interested in you and he wants to talk to you, he can come and sit at your table. So I'm telling him, you can come sit here. He didn't want to come sit by me. He's like, the chair that he was sitting on. Mind you, he was on like a cushion type booth, and I was on like a wooden chair, still both comfortable. Besides the point, he didn't want to come to my table. He was telling me to come to his space. And the Lord was like, no. Okay. So I'm like, okay, oh well. I'm like, whatever. So we left it at that. And he went back to typing on his computer, and I was like doing something on my phone. And the young lady brings my coffee, guys. And I take my coffee, I try it, I'm telling her it's so good. I was like, okay, thank you so much. And I get out of my chair to leave, and he's staring at me this whole time, right? So I know he wants to say more than what he said. But I was just like, all right. I tell him, I'm like, have a good day. Enjoy your boring work that you're doing on your laptop. And I just start laughing. And he's like, you too. And he is checking me, from head to toe, all the way until I walked out of the door, guys. But the Lord was speaking to my spirit during this whole interaction, telling me, no, if he wants to talk to you, he can come sit across from you, okay? If that's who I have for you, he will come sit across from you. He did not want to, guys. Let God is a great wingman. He is a great wingman. Mind you, I didn't mind going to sit in his space. It wasn't his, but I didn't mind going to sit where he was sitting and talking to this young man. That is not what God put on my heart to do. God was a perfect wingman, guys. He spoke so loud to my spirit. Nope, tell him to come sit by you. He did not want to. Okay, and it's so important. I just shared that story with you guys because it's so important to let God be your wingman in this hour. If you are a single woman that God has told you this is your season for love, for marriage, for union, allow God to connect you to that person, because Satan is working overtime to connect the wrong people to one another. And if we're not listening to the Lord, it could be so easily... we could be so easily swayed into the wrong relationship. And this was a very very nice looking guy. He was phone number worthy, okay? Communication, we talked for like 5 minutes, and within 5 minutes, if you're a real woman enough or man enough to say, within 5 minutes, you know if this is somebody you would want to talk to or not, if you guys are having a conversation. Very handsome guy, most beautiful smile, intelligent, okay? Very intellectual, can tell all of this within the 5 minutes, okay? So he would have been somebody that's phone number worthy that I would have given my number to before I knew the Lord, okay? It is so important, guys, to let God lead in this season. If this is a season of connection and love that God has told you, let him lead you. Because even though Satan comes as closest to the light as possible. So even though you may run into a person and I could have been like, dang, this must be him because I just said the prayer, let us meet supernaturally, Lord. And then I walk into the coffee shop and this is him. No, and no. If God does not tell you that it is him or her, it is not him or her. Discernment and listening spiritually. Okay? Don't have ears and not be able to hear what God is saying. Don't have eyes and not be able to see what God is showing you. Open up your heart and be receptive to his leading. Don't be desperate, because desperate moves will put you in desperate situations and cause you to be in the worst situation possible. Allow God to be your wingman in this hour. If God has promised you love, when that person, woman or man, is standing in front of you, God will speak. You will know, okay? If that person is the one, he will give you a peace that surpasses all understanding. For some people, he will start to speak through you so that you can say the right things to this person. Okay, there was nothing wrong with this young man. Attraction, conversation, it seemed so supernatural, but do not open doors that God has not given you the go to open. And I know so many of you guys are just ready and you're like, Lord, send the person. I love love too, but I ain't desperate and I'm not just gonna jump at anything. Come sit in my space. This is more comfortable. God was like, if he really wanted to talk to you, if he was really serious, he would have took those 3 steps and came to sit with you because you gave him an open invitation, daughter. Okay? So let God lead you. And I'm actually going to do the dream and the second word separately. I'm not going to put it all together because I just got in the house. I just wanted to share that moment with you guys to say, let God be your wingman, okay? I'll be back on, I'm sure, before this night is over because I have a dream to release that God gave me the revelation to yesterday. Blew my mind. But he gave me this revelation on January 27th to the dream and the interpretation that I'm going to release to you guys in another word. I was going to put it together with this word, but I'm going to let this word be a word all by itself because that is what it is. Allow God to be your wingman. Women, men, don't be swayed because something looks like what you just prayed for, so it must be God. You don't think Satan could hear your prayers too? You don't think darkness in high places could hear your conversation you're having with God? And God will allow you to be tested in this area. Pass the test. Pass the test. Something so simple. Me going over there, I'm pretty sure had I went to sit with this young man, I would have given him my number. He would have given me his number. It probably would have played out, but that's not who God has for me. That's not who God has for me. And it's so important that you guys just let God lead. If he doesn't give you the go to that person, it's a no to that person. Okay? It's a no to that person. You don't want to open a door when your love story is right around the corner and then that person comes and you're trying to figure out like what to do when you wouldn't have had to do that in the first place had you sought God and asked, God, do you want me to exchange numbers with this person? What am I supposed to do? God will speak to you just like he began to speak to my spirit in the midst of me having a conversation with this person. If you have ears to hear, he will begin to speak to you to tell you what to say. Trust him, guys, in this hour. And I thought about this whole thing, like for the rest of the day, I just thought about what had happened because I knew what I had just prayed to God at Ulta to myself. And no, Satan, one thing about Satan, he's not omnipresent. He can't read your mind. This wasn't a prayer I said out loud. I said it in my mind. But there are things that the Lord will allow Satan to hear and give him access and permission to hear. And it's a test for you, for me. Pass the test. Satan can't read your mind. So when I don't want him to hear prayers and conversations between me and God, I'll say it in my head because he can't read your mind. He's not omnipresent. He's not everywhere. Satan only has access to things that God allows him to have access to. Satan's not omnipresent. He could give you thoughts. He could give you fleshly thoughts, negative thoughts. He can give you thoughts. And you'll know if you have a relationship with God, if those thoughts aren't from God. He can give you thoughts, but Satan can't read your mind. But there are things that God will allow him to have access to, and it would be a test. Same as Job. God allowed him to have access to Job. But Satan has to get permission from God first to do anything, to move left or right. He has to be granted permission from God. Satan does not have that kind of power. He's not omnipresent. He's not omnipotent. He's not omniscient. He's just Satan. And he has to get permission from the one true God. And there are certain things God will allow him to just give him the go on. Go ahead, tempt my child, test my child. She's still not going to stray away from me. And I won't. And you won't. But allow God to be your wingman in this hour, because that whole conversation, if I had not listened and went to sit with him and we started talking and we had a good little 5-minute conversation in the coffee shop. This man was staring me down. And not in a lustful like look. He was just interested. He was interested. And he was really attractive. Really nice smile. Really just put together dude. That wasn't for me though. So just be careful in this hour, y'all. Y'all know I be sharing my real life experiences with y'all because when God speaks something to me, I know that it's not just for me and I'm not the only one going through it or dealing with it. Allow God to lead. Don't be so desperate and just, oh, he fine, this must be him, and da-da-da. God does not, there's not a shortage on men or women, okay? God already has that person for you. You hear some people saying it's a shortage on men and there's not enough men in Atlanta and in New York and in these places. For God's children, we're not in a shortage. There's no shortage for us when it comes to our spouses. Who God has for us is who it is. You don't have to worry about somebody taking anything that's yours. God has already deemed it as yours. Nobody else can take your place or can take any promises from you. But let God lead in this hour so that you're not easily swayed by something that was never yours. And a lot of you said, I do, because you were easily swayed by something that was never yours. A lot of you brought yourself together in marriages, if we're being real. You didn't let God bring you together with that person. Don't be easily swayed. God is a perfect wingman, and he will be speaking to you. You know how like you go on a date and you put like your microphone or your earpiece in your ear and a friend is speaking through the earpiece telling you what to say, like how you see on the movies. God is that earpiece, and he will tell you exactly what to say when you're in front of people. When you meet a man or meet a woman or whoever, he will speak to you in that situation so that you know what to say. So that's all I wanted to get on here and share with y'all. I'm sure I will speak to y'all again tonight. I'm just getting home not too long ago, so I'm just going to relax a bit. But I thought that was funny, and I thought about it for the rest of the day. I was like, wow, like what a handsome dude. But had I not had ears to hear, that could have went totally left, and I would have been like, ooh, I met someone cool today, and God would have been like, I didn't send that. You're opening a door that I didn't open. You opened it. Check with God first, guys. Let him be your wingman, man or woman. Let him be your wingman. But I love you. Have a blessed Saturday. And I did get all of you guys that sent me prayer requests and emails. I got them. Just because I don't respond to you, I can't respond to all of them. Just know that if you sent me a prayer request, I've prayed over you. I do receive emails of some of you guys sending me your dreams. God does not have me interpreting anyone's dreams. So I would advise you to sit with God on your dreams and allow him to be your teacher and teach you. And along the way, he will connect you with divine connections. But go to him first, guys. I'm not interpreting anyone's dreams. And I never did that before anyway, unless I felt led to, but I'm not doing that at this time. I used to coach and teach people how to interpret their own dreams, but I don't just go around interpreting people's dreams. That's not even how it works. You can tell me a dream and I can know the interpretation, and God will tell me, don't give them the interpretation of that dream. It's not for you, and I won't interpret it. And some interpretations, I may be able to interpret it, but he wants to give it to you. So sit with him on your dreams. Please stop sending me emails about dreams that you want me to interpret. I don't do that, guys. Sit with him and he'll start teaching you the same way he taught me. Okay? Even though I have sisters in Christ that coach and do dream coaching and stuff like that. Like, God is the only one that can teach me my dreams the way he has this far. Everybody that I've met that are dreamers, most of them are basic dreamers. Like they have the basic interpretations for dreaming, and that's okay. But my dreams aren't basic. God speaks to me in parables, and he is the only one that can interpret my dreams. And I'm not saying that people who have basic dreams that there's anything wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. But it's just not for me. Like, so I sit with God and let him interpret my dreams. I have yet to meet someone that can just like, I can sit down and talk to and they can interpret my dreams. Everyone that I've met that's a dreamer, they use basic symbols. God does not use basic symbols when interpreting my dreams. And you guys that have rocked with me for a while, you see that. So sit with God and let him interpret your dreams. He's the best teacher. But those of you that have sent me prayer requests, I have prayed for you, even if I haven't responded. Those of you that have sowed into me, thank you so much, because I don't ask for anything monetary or anything like that. But thank you so much for your seeds, for your prayers, which are also seeds. Thank you guys. I love you and have a blessed day. Bye.